All right, ready?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just before you start, too far.
Go on. What is it? Wait, let me see.
What's wrong with that? That's fine.
I think it's something protruding.
Oh, wait.
What the fuck? 2 dicks?
What do you reckon?
That's amazing. And then...
It's funny.
No.
Yeah, it's good.
No, amazing. I don't know what the joke is, but amazing.
Yeah. Never
Amazing.
too much.
Amazing. That's hilarious.
All right. 1, 2. Welcome to Shawarma FM, presented by...
Oh, Friendly Geordie's podcast.
And we're back, you know? Most of the people were very excited that Jordan's back with the FJ podcast.
But there was a small minority
Very small.
that said, hey, who's taken away my subpar imposter podcast?
Exactly. So I thought, we cannot do this. We've got to keep bringing the shawarma.
We have to keep bringing... I don't think there's enough Middle Eastern influence in media today, so there needs to be some Shawarma FM, you know?
Middle Eastern?
Well, Shawarma FM.
Yeah, but you're not Middle Eastern.
I know, but it's called Shawarma FM.
Yes.
Plus, if you speak to my mum, didn't you know that Croatians are from Iran? Sure,
Dude,
they
apparently
are.
everyone is from Iran.
Yeah, sure they are.
You know, like Germans believe that they were also from Iran.
Everyone just cosplays because they like the carpets.
Yeah, and I think also people like the idea of Persian Empire.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. They're like,
that was
ooh, they're like, I like when I put that like little bit of makeup at the end of my eye that makes me look Egyptian. It's like,
yeah.
You're Russian, you silly duffer.
Even the goddamn Nazis, felt that they were Iranians as well.
Everyone's Iranian.
Well, they didn't feel that they were Iranian. They were saying like they were actually the original ones.
Yeah.
And then the Iranian civilization was Germans.
I mean, there might be some truth to it, but it's also like, it
was like a lot of it was just based on
bullshit.
I was it's not the topic,
Propaganda?
but I was reading into it. They got because at the time when the Nazis were like sort of becoming big, linguistics had been introduced as a new field of study.
Yeah.
And one of the things that linguistics allowed us to do was to trace languages and find origin cultures.
Okay.
And what people realized that the Iranians, the Indians, and the Caucasus North, they were all at some point were similar cultures, something like that.
Right.
A lot of it can't be really proved and stuff, but that's what they based it on. And then they went with that shit.
Huh. Yeah, it's all, I mean, like, you know, yeah, we all kind of came from Africa too, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
They
yes.
say that humans were sort of original.
You know, up until like I don't know actually what the latest research is, but up until like maybe 3-4 years ago, that was the consensus that everyone originated from Africa. But I've heard some people like disagree with that now.
Evolution isn't real.
No, evolution is real, but the idea that like everyone, the entire stock of Homo sapiens came from this one particular area of Africa.
Right, yeah.
Some people are challenging it. I don't know enough to be. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of irrelevant. It's like whatever, you know. But at some point, you know, people did journey to the furthest reaches of the earth, and you know.
What do you think about that? The idea that people journey to different reaches of the earth.
It's kind of interesting because it's like, why are humans so transient? Why? What is it in our nature?
Well, I mean, we all have this need of survival, and
why the fuck
a lot of the migration is survival.
Yeah, but why would you travel to Russia for survival?
Well, wherever you're coming from clearly had some issues of survival.
Sure, right.
Like the Vikings aren't. Yeah, they're Vikings or whatever, right?
Sweden.
Yeah, so I think there was a point where...
Why did they leave? Why did the Vikings...
Yeah, because they couldn't fish anymore. Like the population had gone to a certain point where like they were having issues with literally eating.
Seriously?
And so they decided we need to like go. And then they realized that Europe was not only just rich, but can't fight nearly as hard as these bastards can.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that. See, it's quite funny too that like the Vikings trip me out because it's like they were such a massive militia army and such a force to behold, and now what are Swedes like? Red lobster sunburnt little cucks like, hello, I'm from Sweden and I like to pay tax rate of 60% most of the time. It's like, it's such a weird change.
Yeah, but it's really consistent. This is actually one of the things that I would I mean, don't try to apply everything to modern day as well. But if you look at Vikings, who invaded Europe, ruled over big parts of Europe for a long time, or you look at the Mongols that did exactly that with China, or you look at the Central Asians who did that with India.
Yeah.
All of these groups eventually just sort of assimilated and gave up their like
why?
Because they were doing that because they came from an area where that was required to survive.
Yeah.
When they moved to a different place where survival was based on like how enterprising you can be or how like if you can grow your business and all of that sort of stuff, if you can be a farmer, then you eventually after a few generations just like become the same thing.
Right, interesting.
Yeah.
Look, that makes sense. Everything dissipates. Everything becomes like what's the word? Where I don't know. It mellows. You know, it like the solution gets less potent. But I don't know. Do you think the whole transient traveling thing is that interesting to you that humans do that?
Yeah, it's particularly interesting to me because this is the one thing that I at one time I longed for as well as weirdly am proud of. For like so many generations, as far back as like I can actually note in my family, we've just been like going from one place to another.
Yeah, I like it.
But the problem is, I have never, or my entire family has never been able to call themselves son of soil anywhere.
That's not true. Pakistan. You were born there. Your parents were born there.
Yes, but they were all so like over there, our community is called migrants, not in a derogatory way.
You're called migrants?
Yeah, because we were the community that migrated from India after the partition. I'm not saying that that's like
and you're
a slur.
considered a migrant?
They call themselves migrants to differentiate between. Yeah, but again, I want to say it's not a derogatory term that people use. It is just a classification.
But what's
like they have the same rights as anyone else.
Yeah.
They're just as Paki. They're just as nationalistic.
Yeah.
You know, all of that stuff. But just as a classification, they call themselves migrants.
But you guys like love this caste system shit, don't you?
Well, Muslims don't
Indians
as much.
do.
Yeah, but I would argue.
Why
like,
are you obsessed with these weird classifications? Migrants, like who cares?
because the society is really divided. So the only way you can like get some kind of
So you're genetically Indian. Everyone
mix.
is.
Mix.
Yeah.
Right?
The English drew an arbitrary line.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't like blaming the English because like there was a lot of people that wanted them to draw a line.
Right.
But anyways, it's complicated. But what I'm trying to say is like, you know,
I
look at my wife.
You don't have a home.
Yeah, but like I look at my wife, and bro, like 3 generations are literally in the same fucking suburb that she grew up in. A generation before that was like Newtown, which is a couple of suburbs down.
Yeah.
And before that was like Albury. And yes, at some point they moved from Prussia or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, but you know, she could really, when she says I'm from Strathfield, she is actually from Strathfield. Not only is she from Strathfield, her dad's from Strathfield, her mom's from Strathfield, all of her grandparents.
Yeah.
That's a whole, I can never say that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess if you're called migrants in Pakistan, then you move to Malaysia and you're a fucking migrant. And then Australia. But I mean, do you feel like Australia is the most permanent in terms of like,
I mean, look,
or do you still struggle with that thing where you go to Fiji?
I'm not
and
struggling.
It's like, where are you from? Australia. Bro, where are you really from?
No, I have no problem because I am originally from Pakistan. I literally moved, so I have no problem. But I'm not struggling. I'm not struggling in Australia, and I wasn't struggling in Pakistan either.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't like we were some persecuted minority.
No, I know that, but
anything.
like it's just more a psychological. It's more a psychological like how you characterize yourself, how you think of yourself, how you're considered.
I think there's what it does bring is like differences to culture, family culture.
Yeah.
Because when you're a migrant or like you have a history of just being migrants, there's a lot more emphasis on education and assimilation.
That's a good thing, education.
Yeah, it's a good. So it has advantages.
Benefits. I mean,
I don't know how many generations we weren't farmers.
Yeah.
We've been like, you know, urban people.
It's funny because my parents, I'm first generation Australian, which is pretty common. It's not that crazy. And Australia's pretty accepting, I think, with that stuff. Like, it's like not even a thing.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, all my family's roots are in Croatia. But when I go over there, I don't like I feel, how can I put it? It's not. It's a very unromantic way of looking at it, but it's like because it's quite familiar, sort of. It simultaneously feels a bit foreign to me, but also very similar to Australia. It's just people living on. They still walk on the fucking ground. They still eat food. It's not that fucking different. And like culturally, Croatians. I think like I don't want to sound like Anthony Bourdain here, but at least from Europe to the West, generally, I'm just general. So that side, but even like Asia, from my experience, is like, man, all cultures are very like they're very fucking similar, dude. It's the same principles. It's the same shit. There's a Macca's everywhere. Everyone has to pay their taxes.
Not in North Korea. There's no Macca's there.
That's true. But, you know, everyone hates politicians. It's the same old shit. So it's like when someone's like, do you feel Croatian or Australian? I'm like, I don't know. It's the same shit.
Yeah. And have you noticed how, like...
They got beaches. We have beaches.
Most of the ethnic comedians that talk about their culture, it's like, you know... We are Lebanese. We are all about family and eating barbecue.
Yeah, very different.
And I was like, dude,
very
like,
different.
Every culture is doing that.
Guess what? Croatia also has barbecues. Yeah. And guess what? They drink, you won't believe this, beer.
Yeah.
And
everyone had fire, dude. Everyone had
same
it.
Shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I think I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, I actually do want to go to places like North Korea and places that are genuinely different because the world is, it's like as I really liked Korea, but like, dude, it wasn't like that crazy to me. It was just Chatswood.
Yeah. That's actually another issue with social media and like how connected we are.
You see
it used to be a time, dude, Marco Polo would have seen some crazy shit.
So
you know?
crazy.
Like these crazy discoveries. Yeah. And now we're just...
It's
inundated. We can just ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, now we just open, we literally go like this. We go, and there's some Singaporean cunt cooking a giant crab in a vat of oil. And I'm like, you used to have to fucking go on a boat for 6 months to see that. Now some guy's just like, psh, it's like, it's a little bit, the interconnectedness is a bit scary.
Dude, I was reading this travelogue of a guy from like the 1600s who perhaps was one of the first official travelers from India to Europe. So he went from India, he went to like Marco Polo, but it kind of reverse thing. Anyway, so he goes to like France and he has but his observations are so interesting because they're so like, you realize that they didn't know anything. So he goes like, the depth of the ocean is over 20 feet. And you're like, and this is how he does it. He's like, I had a rope that was 20 feet and I put it down. And so I gather it is at least 30 feet.
I mean, we laugh now, but like,
I know, but like, it's so funny to think about. Like, and now he's like,
it's easy to say once you have the science, you know.
Now we know like the density of Inuit igloos based on like Google.
I mean, look, I have to say, I am forever fascinated and thankful with the availability of information we have now as a result of technology. It's crazy, like. It's like the problem I think we have. I was thinking about this today. The problem we have is that there's an oversaturation of information now. Everything's at our fingertips, but it's useless unless you can hone in on one area and hyper focus on it for a long time. Like that's what studying is, rather than having a superficial knowledge of everything on Earth or whatever. But like, if you want to know about like how screws are designed, you can become a professor on that. Yeah. And it's like,
dude, back in the day, if you figured that out, you had to tell some guy and tell him to remember it.
Please remember this.
Please remember this.
Because obviously, if you write it down, that's the devil's work. We can't write yet.
Which is why, like, a lot of times you would have these societies that would like get advanced, and then all of a sudden they stop being advanced because like people forgot and the new generations came.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's what happened. Because it was like until writing and documenting that we could actually have information from before. Before you literally tell one guy in your village, your job is to remember all of this shit. and you know, and so he'd be like 90 years old telling like third generation, it was like, the way you make the color red is by slapping a gypsy on their face. I remember this correct. It's like, dude.
Like, I don't want to sound like a complete stoner here, but like, you know what also fascinates me to no end, and I don't care if everyone's like, dude, you're an idiot. Like what's wrong with, like, what are you, 5 years old? But I will never not be absolutely fascinated about watching planes fly. Because I watch that and I'm like, man is like, this is fucking remarkable to me. I think that's half the reason that I was like, I can't chew anymore, because I felt like I was going to die. If it wasn't natural for a man to be in a giant iron bird like 6 times a week. It's like, I'm going to die. This is not normal. And like, it's a giant metal bird that is propelled in above the clouds and carries people to all around the world. And you can eat fucking roast beef sandwiches. Back in the day, you could get carved meat, but we won't go back into that. You know, you can have a fucking gin and tonic above the clouds. Like, that is just like,
You had to die to do that.
dude, it will never cease to, and it almost pisses me off how accessible it is, because it's
have
like,
you seen those videos from Afghanistan where like dudes from Village are like doing the Wright brothers thing again, trying to fucking invent the
But
plane?
dude, the Wright brothers-
They've got like
yeah.
these fucking flaps, and they're jumping off the mountain and falling head first.
But I'll be real. I would love to try to redesign the Wright brothers plane and fly that shit. Just like, it'd be sick.
Yeah. It would be sick, but like also very dangerous.
But the Wright brothers, they killed it, right? Like, they got pretty high on that thing, right?
Yeah, they did.
Did they die from it?
No. I think they stayed alive.
So they took off and landed.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is, you and I are never going to reach the heights, metaphorically and literally, of the Wright brothers. How do you feel about that?
But
How do you feel about that?
I do not want to be those Afghanistan.
I kinda do.
I'll show you. I'll send you. Dude, they're fucking.
I wanna go
Afghanistan
there.
is all rocks and mountains, and they're jumping off.
Okay, that's bad.
But like,
Why are they doing that?
Oh shit! Plastic bag. They're trying to fly, dude.
But like, why?
For fun, I don't know. Why does one do stuff like that? Why would you not want to fly off the mountain?
I would love to, but I wouldn't want to risk my life. Have you seen that video?
I think they're flying. It's like, okay, on my way to Sweden now.
Oh, fuck. There's easier ways, bro. Have you seen, there's a video of a guy in Paris. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't restricted to Afghanistan. I think it was like, they just invented film. So it was a long time ago. And there was this guy that's like, I have created a flying machine and I will fly off the Eiffel Tower. And he goes up there and he has these giant wings and all this shit. And, you know, he's tested it. He must have, maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, he jumps off and he fucking dies. Because it just doesn't work. Like, it's kind of working. Like, it's kind of like, he's not just going straight down, but he's kind of just that way. And it's like, he was probably just like, okay, this is a lot of speed. And, and just poof, died. And it's on film. And it's like, maybe you should have like jumped off a hill first.
Certainly. But the advantage is the next person now knows,
Don't do
I think
that.
I'm going to go for the hill first.
Yeah.
And I think those kind of people that died doing that sort of shit were admired.
Yeah, because someone has to try it first.
Because
Like,
someone
someone
has
has to
to
try the berry to see if it's poisonous.
And also, that's like, isn't that like evolution?
Yeah.
Because
Well-
you progress with that attitude.
Yeah, you do.
You die off.
Yeah, you do.
Like the reason why we're humans and talking on a podcast is because one of our ancestors that was on a tree was like, I know there's lions out there, but I reckon we could get more food.
Yeah.
So I'm going to like get off the tree and start scavenging.
Totally. That's innovation.
Innovation.
And like, yeah.
Not innovation, but also like risk.
risk.
High
taking
level risk. Because at the time we weren't apex predator. Like we would be eaten by lions and beasts all the time.
It's actually fascinating that that's how it was. But like, it is insane to think that like, yeah, it takes those people to sort of push the boundaries. Have you seen that guy on Netflix that like free climbs mountains without any harnesses?
No, but I hate, like that's too much. That's not required.
Dude, it is fucking... That's kind of like the plane thing to me. It's more crazy than the plane thing. I'm like, how are you doing this? Like, he's climbing the world's tallest mountain with nothing on. No harness. And like, who's to say like one of the rocks he's hanging on just goes... It could things.
Yeah.
What is?
I think that's way too risky and unnecessary.
But he hasn't died yet. How can he do it? How can he do that? How?
Well, I mean, clearly he has a lot of strength to hold himself and stuff.
Not just strength. It's anxiety. What do you call it? Like
nerve. So he doesn't have that. I mean, clearly
it's how you control and how you. It just doesn't. Anxiety doesn't present itself in certain people. Like they just don't get.
No, they enjoyed it. They're like adrenaline junkies. They like the idea. Oh, I could have died. They love that.
Really?
Yeah, it's an adrenaline
But
thing.
that is such a minority of people, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because I
don't know.
I love adrenaline. I love doing crazy, risky shit, but not that risky.
Yeah, that's what gets them going. The fact that you said, but not that risky. They're like, well, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
I'm just saying it's statistically incredible he hasn't died yet. He's done a lot of those things.
Yeah, sure.
He
sure.
climbed that tower in Malaysia. You know that giant tower? No harness. He just climbed it.
How is he allowed to do it?
They let him do it. They filmed it for Netflix. There was a big moral conundrum because they were like, is this a moral thing to do? Because if he falls, 1 billion people will watch a man die.
Yeah.
Terribly. But they just did it anyway, and he didn't die.
But they probably were hoping for that to happen.
Maybe, yeah. But then if he got to
Millions of people will watch him die.
But he got to the top and was just like, yeah. And it's like, how the fuck? Like, dude, when I climb these,
He
when I
did
climb,
the Fortnite dance.
dude, when I climb these ladders and I feel like I'm gonna die. I'm like, sometimes I get the shakes.
Yeah, dude. I have a similar thing. I mean, it's human to be scared of like fucking dying like that.
When I was younger, I was less scared of those things because I was like a feather. If I fell, I could have just floated onto something.
But it's also when you're younger, your part of your brain that thinks of consequences isn't that developed.
Is that right?
So you don't. As you get older, you start thinking of consequences way more.
Okay, that makes more sense because now I'll do it and I'm like, wow, I would really hurt myself.
Think
if I
about when
fell.
you were 15 years old in high school. Did you ever think of consequences for shit?
I did some crazy
Now
shit.
you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually kind of weirdly a superpower that younger people have. That
Well,
older people
it's not
don't
a
have.
superpower. It's a risk, massive risk.
It's a risk, but like, you
liability.
know, if you have that kind of an attitude when you're 30 or 40, yes, it's a high risk one, but you can achieve so much.
Right.
Because everyone, like most of us, limit ourselves because we're afraid of the consequences. What would happen if things go wrong?
That's true.
And so we're
true.
never able to achieve that extra thing.
That's
you know?
true. I used to like, yeah, I was just a normal kid, like hanging off trees, fucking myself up on skateboards. I remember when I was in America and I was like 23, we were climbing this like hillside on the side of like California. We were driving up to this place called Big Sur, and I went really close. It was like this like tree, like a, what do you call it? Like, it was very, I don't know, like a nettle tree, so it was really slippery. And I remember I got really close to this edge and it was a cliff. And it was like, I didn't slip or anything, but I remember I was right on the edge looking at these cliffs. I'm like, I got to turn around now because if I fall, I'm dead. And I turned around and like, it was one of those moments where I was like, fuck, I could have, this is stupid. Like I was basically on ice on a cliff face on my own in like rocks pointing up. And I'm like, if I just went like, whoa, and then, I'm dead, like very easily.
Yeah. And there's
So-
so many videos that I've seen on Instagram now. They're like, have you seen that guy where like, I don't know even if it's a real video,
Yeah.
but some dude's like at the edge of the cliff and he's like, oh, Michael, don't go, that's slippery. And then he slips, falls off the cliff. Clearly he's dead. And the guy's just like, oh, Michael, don't come back. It's so casual, which makes me think it's
back.
kind of maybe AI.
Fake.
Yeah.
Did you hear about it? There was a lot of influencers that would go to these spots and it's like, you know, hanging off a cliff and shit and they fall and die.
Yeah, but you know why they do it? Why they fall and die?
Why?
Apparently it's because they're filming themselves. So most of these people normally are able to do it, but like that moment when you're looking for the selfie, you're
Yeah.
distracted,
Fuck.
and that's when you die. So some of them are like people that are like adrenaline, but a lot of them are like, you know, influencers that are looking for the right picture. I
mean, what a fucking pathetic way to die.
Yeah.
There was a guy that did this live stream where he was hanging off this side of a building, like a skyscraper. And it was like, yo, I'm going to hang here till I get this many blah, blah, blahs, you know? And then like he got it and he was like, I did it, yo. And he went to pull himself up, but he didn't have the energy. So he was sitting there. It was on a live stream, on a chat, and he was holding on and it was filming it too. And he was like, oh God. He's like, my arms are so tired. He's like, oh, I gotta. And then he just was like hanging there for like probably 5 minutes, being like, can someone help me? And then eventually just goes, you see it on the thing, he just goes like, he falls and dies.
Oh my God.
For nothing.
I mean, for those likes or whatever. He achieved his target and then left the world.
Yeah, but like, dude,
Chimp.
this is kind of, to me, some end game of social media and influencers. It's like doing dumber and dumber things to get clout. But it's so vapid. It's so meaningless. It's just like, it's like, I don't understand. I think in your 20s you want fame and stuff. But I think in your 30s you're like, man, I don't want that. I don't want fame. I want an anonymity. I want success.
I think for a lot of people, fame is what they're like really after.
Yeah, but
it depends on who you are.
yeah, I think when I was younger, I was like, I want to be famous, and now I'm like, fuck that, dude. I want success, but I don't want to be famous. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, me neither. But that's because you've
Tasted it.
a little like
I've tasted enough of it
neither
to
of
be.
us are famous.
No,
but like, you
but
know,
I've tasted a tiny little taste of it through Jordan, and I'm like,
yeah, through Jordan. Because like
Yeah,
the thing
and I'm
with
like,
being
this
famous is like
I'm like, this isn't for me.
it's being the
You're
cool kid
caricature.
at high school.
You're caricature.
Yeah, but that's fun. But the thing is, like, what I kind of do, like, whenever Jordan goes anywhere, like, everyone wants to be his friend,
Exactly.
and that would be a fucking awesome feeling.
Yeah, but
It's
as
like
he's-
being the cool jock at high school. Who the hell doesn't want to do that?
It's cool, but as Jordan states, the novelty wears off quickly, and then it's just there's no depth to it.
I
People
suppose
just want
so.
superficial conversation.
I guess it's good if you want to get laid.
Correct.
It would be very, very good.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. He can't do that though.
Why you would be married as a famous person, I do not understand.
It's kind of true.
It's like, you know, having a
one
superpower
advantage.
but never using it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'm saying these people, like Jordan has a product that is good, and like he's like has a career. Like people that are like, I'm gonna hang off a building. It's like, are you like, how dumb are you? Like, why do
How
you see
desperate
value
are
in
you?
this? You realize unless it holds value, then it's irrelevant. Like, I'm gonna do this crazy thing. It's like stunts. Stunts are like drugs. You have to keep upping the ante. It's so superficial that it peaks and then it drops just as much. It's like it's completely not worth doing. It's just like insane. I don't understand it. I don't understand the impetus. It doesn't make. It's so short-sighted. It's the most short-sighted by definition thing you can do.
Hey, speaking of short-sighted,
Yeah.
can we now talk about the Iran war?
First subject, yes,
Like a little war update.
please. I would like that because
Where do you think the world is at the moment, miss?
Well,
what's happening with the war?
I checked in very, 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 very.
By the way, today is day 12.
Yeah, shit. I checked in very briefly, like, and from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong or if there's other developments, but apparently Trump's been like, I'm ready to end this war. And then Iran's going, oh, no, no, no. It's over when we say it's over.
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
Partly, yes.
Yeah.
It's such a so now as we speak on day 12, the war has now moved towards the control of Strait of Hormuz. So Strait of Hormuz is like 30-mile length that sort of cuts off between Iran and Oman. And so that's the point where Iran has decided that they're going to essentially choke the world oil supply unless America backs off.
I can see it at the petrol pump. Fuckers.
Yeah, the petrol pump. And so they want that to keep growing so that there's enough pain on the U.S. to essentially withdraw. And Trump is now saying that Trump is being really weird. He said the other day that all the oil tankers are pussies. They're not going through it. We're protecting you. And it's like,
Right.
what are you talking about? Like, the insurance companies aren't willing to insure it because, and in fact, today, before coming here, I read that apparently 3 attempted to pass through it and they got attacked by Iran.
Fuck.
And Iran is saying that we're going to only let through tankers and ships that we want,
Yeah.
which is a difficult thing to manage because I was thinking from Australia's perspective, what should we do? Because obviously we have some stakes, we have some assets in so now we've kind of just sided with the US openly. But the thing is, like, even if we were to, let's say, side with the US like we have done, we're going to have a lot of like threats to our supply lines from Iran.
Right.
Let's say in an opposite universe, we decided that we're actually going to like be with Iran and say like, you know, America, this was an overstep or whatever, like do the Spain model.
Yeah.
I am like 95% sure that Israel or America would have attacked our tankers anyways. Because neither party wants to allow the other side to then have free access to the strait and while we don't.
Yeah.
So there's incentives on both sides to sabotage each other. And so right now you have these like this essentially this effort to control the Strait of Hormuz. The problem with America being able to control it is that all Iran has to do is not to have complete control, but to attack whenever they want. And that will essentially freeze the supplies because no insurance company or no logistics company is going to be okay with the possibility that our tanker is going to get thrown a missile.
So Iran's holding all the cards.
Not all the cards, but I think they are holding many cards because
Was this like
America thought that they'll have escalation dominance, which is that we decide where this war is going to go. But the thing is, everything that Israel and America does, Iran has said that we're going to do it to the Gulf states. So if you're going to attack our oil fields, then we're going to attack their oil fields.
Yeah.
And if you're going to attack our water, then we're going to attack your desalination plant. So America unfortunately does not have escalation dominance over here.
Yeah.
And to be fair,
How short-sighted were they? Didn't they not realize this would happen?
They call bad advice. I'm guessing because initially I thought maybe they had planned it, but the more and more I look at their media, so like their press conferences, what they're saying, it just seems like they're not sure themselves, which makes me think like they didn't think this one through.
I mean, I didn't realize that strait was such a big oil hub.
Well, the other issue is right now, this is step one. There's potentially another big issue. Right now, you have the Strait of Hormuz that is blocked, right? So if you look at the geography, you have Strait of Hormuz, which sort of takes...
By the way, is the Strait of Hormuz on either side? Is it Iran? Or is it Iran?
No. So on one side is Iran, and on the other side is Oman.
And what's Oman's situation?
It's exactly the same as the Gulf countries, which is just like sort of, what are we going to do? Hostage to the situation. They're getting their stuff blown up all the time as well. So they're in a weird situation. So there's that choke point, right? Then there's another one, which is on the side of Saudi Arabia, the Red Sea area.
Yeah.
The thing is, that's where the Houthis are.
Oh,
so potentially, Iran not only has the capacity that they could sabotage the Strait of Hormuz, but through their proxies, they could do that to the other side as well. And then you have a total chokehold of the oil supply. I don't understand.
Did they not realize that it was such a big oil port? I didn't know that.
They overestimated their capability of destroying them.
Gotcha.
They assume that we'll just destroy all of their ships and all of their whatever. They won't be able to do anything.
Well, yeah.
But have you seen the missile attacks that happen?
Yeah, dude.
They come out of the ground from nowhere. Have you seen those? Iranian.
No.
So this is the thing. What the U.S. and Israelis were hoping for is that when we attack them, they're going to start hitting us with our missiles.
Yeah.
Right? When they hit us with our missiles, we'll know where they are. And then we'll attack them. And so eventually, we'll destroy all of their missile launchers. Right. They'll exhaust their missiles. And then they have no other option. But the thing is, if you look at some of the video, because there's so much like censorship that is, it's insane.
On whose end?
You will...
On whose end?
From the Israelis and Gulf states and even America.
Yeah, everywhere.
Like they've completely banned people from recording.
Yeah.
They're imprisoning people that, for example, like Dubai, apparently imprisoned like 3 or 4 people who had just, not like they were partisan, but they were recording the thing. It was like, oh, there's a missile coming.
Just for that.
Because they don't want everyone to know that they're being attacked like this.
Yeah.
Same thing is happening with Israel. The thing is, so they thought that once the missiles will be launched, we're just going to come and attack. And that way their capabilities will be destroyed. But the thing is, man, these missile launchers are coming out of nowhere from the ground.
Yeah.
And then they so if you look at it, it's literally just like mud desert.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, a missile comes out of the ground. And then there's sand again.
Are you serious? It is like June. June is like in June, like basically they're called the Fremen, and they're basically the Arabs. And the spice is a metaphor for oil.
Yeah,
and it's all about a war, and it's about martyrdom. It's really about these wars.
It's crazy. Yeah,
and in the book, the Fremen win because of guerrilla warfare, and they're kind of, I mean, because they have Armada as well, but they win because exactly this. It's just like they can pop out of the ground. They know the terrain.
And obviously the Americans and the Israelis know that they have a large underground network. Like, surely they have to know that. But the thing is, they thought that they could like just locate it and then throw maybe their bunker buster bombs or something that will destroy. Thing is, man, it's really hard to know what's happening underground.
Especially in the mountains.
And you don't know if, just because it launched from there doesn't mean that the entire storage system and everything was there. They're mobile underground as well.
Yeah.
So they have access. So they thought that they could destroy it all, but they clearly haven't been able to.
It really sort of is. It's almost like ridiculous how accurate Chomsky's take is, when it's like, it's a repeat of Vietnam. It's the same shit. It's like when it's on their ground, you might have no money, you might be poor, all of this shit. But if you have the long game and you have, I suppose, like a martyrdom state of sort of psychology, you know, all the money in the world isn't, that doesn't beat strategic disadvantages. It's like kind of irrelevant.
But similar to Vietnam is like a good comparison rather than Iraq or Afghanistan.
Well, they're all good, aren't they?
No, but like Vietnam in particular, because Vietnam had the same thing, which is with Iran, which is that the initial intention in Vietnam was not to fight that Vietnam War. It was to have like these operations that would, you know, deplete the Vietnamese forces, and then their guys on the ground will be able to take over. Obviously, that didn't happen exactly like Iran, and so they ended up having like so many soldiers in Vietnam. But their initial thing was that we're not going to send any soldiers over there. So it's like a little creep up mission. This is the escalation trap. Like if you think about it, the trap. Trump, I think, again, I don't know what was going on in his head, but I think Trump did not want to do the operation. He thought that he was going to intimidate them by bringing this armada, right? Where like they would have this insane amount of military capabilities right at their doorstep, and they're going to say, negotiate or we blow you up. And Trump probably thought, well, they're going to like, you know, agree to it. Because I think he thinks like that's what I would do if I had like no guns. If I like if someone came up to me, what am I going to do? He doesn't understand like they're not New York realtors, you know. So they have a different point of view on this.
That's the fun. They're not New York realtors. They're potentially the exact most opposite of a New York realtor in every way, shape, and form.
But this is
they
like
even believe in real estate, probably. You know.
Yeah, but that was like the trap from the get-go. Once you bring in the Armada and someone refuses to agree to your negotiations point, you have no option but to attack them.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Which he did.
Yeah.
And again, the trap.
Yeah.
Once you've attacked them, now you're committed.
Yeah.
You cannot leave without having some kind of a favorable result. So what are you going to do? The trap is you're going to have to keep going. And then you're going to have to send in some boots. You'll send in initially maybe 1,000.
Yeah.
Again, the trap. Because once there's like body bags coming, then you're going to have to send. So all of these are traps. Trump just thinks that he has this negotiating ability, but he's just falling to the same trap.
I think it's a wake-up call for him, because it's like, dude, you're not all this shit. The Department of War, Pete Hegseth, the Fox News guy. Like, these, like, I think I hope that he realizes, and I hope the world is kind of seeing that it's like bravado and confidence and like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger style storylines are not superior to like experts that are educated in the field, sort of have studied their whole lives about the Middle East and negotiations and war and geopolitics. And that there's a reason why someone that's studied for 15 years about Iran should be the special envoy to Iran.
Well,
like,
most,
you know what I mean?
Most people in the world have the same view as you.
Yeah.
Except for some morons who like think they're like MAGA overseas.
Yeah.
But most of the people agree with you. But the problem with Trump is he doesn't agree with it necessarily because he's got the biggest, baddest military in the world.
But this is going to be a wake-up call for him.
The problem now is the fact that it's going to be a wake-up call is more deadly.
Why?
For stability, you almost wish that he achieved his objectives immediately.
Right.
Because now what's going to happen is, even if, okay, So I know that there would be a lot of pressure on Trump personally to withdraw because Trump's entire family is bought by Gulf. So you've got Jared Kushner,
Yes.
who has
Arab
close to
Emirates.
$10 billion
$10 billion.
worth of investment in his company by these Arab. Then you've
Yeah.
got Steve Witkoff. He recently did a $5 billion a deal with the Arab sheikhs.
Shit.
So what I'm saying is like,
Conflict of
and all
interest.
of this was done for this particular purpose of being able to lobby when the time comes. So right
Them-
now, the Gulf countries are
Yes,
lobbying to
yes,
Trump,
yes.
saying like, we're going to die.
Yeah.
Our economy, you need to back off.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So I am pretty sure that Trump thinks that he is looking for an exit strategy.
Yeah.
But the exit strategy is almost impossible for him to take now. Because the problem is that the American deep state, right, who may or may not have been in agreement with the Iran
the military
war.
industrial complex.
Yeah, but like even just the CIA,
Right,
the
yeah.
Pentagon, like I would not be surprised if a majority of them thought that the Iran operation was a bad idea.
Yeah.
However, now I can assure you that a great majority of them would be saying we cannot leave now.
Yeah.
Because if they leave now, it's going to change the regional balance to tilt towards Iran completely. So if they leave, because it's not just going to be about the leaving. Now the military bases that were in the Gulf are actually become a topic of issue.
Yeah.
If they leave now, it's kind of a defeat, right?
Yeah.
Like they try something. So then all of these Gulf countries are not going to trust the US to be able to defend them anymore. So they're going to move towards Iran, which is like,
Are you serious?
even though they hate them, Iran just attacked the hell out of them, but they would have no option. They'll have to like give them extortion money
Yeah.
kind of thing to be, and America will lose control over the Middle East completely. Right now, they didn't have control over this one part, which is the Iran and Strait of Hormuz. And they did all of this to establish control over that.
Yeah.
But the idea that now they'll be like moved away from the Gulf
Yeah.
for Americans, again, they would unacceptable. So what they would be thinking right now is we need, even if we stop waging this war, we need to do it in a position of dominance. Now they're claiming that they're in a position of dominance right now, but
US.
yeah, the US
Yeah.
and Israel.
Yeah.
But they're not, right? This really was a miscalculation.
Yeah.
And there's no dominance here at the moment. So if America leaves now, then the deep state will be really upset. So I think now they have the incentive to keep doing this
Yeah.
until they're in a dominant position, which may never happen, but that's the trap. But a country like the US, who is so rich, so powerful, they cannot fathom the possibility that this could get even worse. And then
Yeah.
even then, so I
Even though
think-
it's happened so many times.
so a lot of them would be saying this has happened, which was a bad idea, but now we're in this,
No, yeah.
and which is again a trap.
Yeah.
On the Iranian side, their calculus is different. They're like, okay, we're not going to let you go now, because one, what if you come back in 12 months? So they've made some demands for this war to end. One
what are
demand
they?
is that they want a guarantee that a future escalation by the US and Israel will not happen, but they don't trust the US. So this will have to be brokered by Russia or China, or both Russia and China.
Right.
These are the only two countries that Iran will believe.
Fuck.
Right? So that needs to happen. The second thing they want to do is that they're saying you need to pay us money for this war. Reparations. Sorry.
Reparations.
Reparations.
That is not going to happen.
You know that. It's not going to happen.
Ooh.
But you know who's going to do it eventually?
China?
The same countries that are being attacked, Gulf, I bet you they're the ones that are going to do reparations eventually. And they'll have no other option. This will be, again, a bully like Trump who will make them do it.
Jesus.
But anyways, Trump is not keen on reparations or
No.
anything, right? And they're also saying like, we get to call Strait of Hormuz. But the thing that they're not saying right now is, but I'm sure is going through the Iranian calculus is like, now they don't just want America to back off. Now they want America to leave the military bases as well in the Gulf.
Fuck.
This is getting pretty hectic, is what I'm trying to say. So
Holy
even though, and
shit.
Trump will realize that he's actually powerless now.
Holy
He had the
shit.
decision to go in, but he does not have the authority to stop it.
It's almost like everyone is showing their cards now, and America isn't as strong as they thought they were.
and neither of the deep state incentives, who, let's be real, when it comes to war, are the ones making the decisions, have the incentive to slow down. Because the problem is that the effects of this war are faced most acutely by obviously the Gulf countries,
Yeah.
to some extent Israel, and a lot of Asian countries that depend on this oil and everything, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe to some extent countries like us.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect Americans. They have local oil. So yes, the prices are going to go up, but Americans can handle it. They also have like insane amounts of reserve. So again, all of the escalation that Iran will do, the negatives of that are US is going to face it the least compared to others.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, dude, Americans barely care about their own citizens. They do not care about overseas people, allies or whoever. So again, I see this like dragging on. I really hope it ends, but I just don't see the incentive structure anywhere for this to end anymore.
Is it almost like it's impossible to win a war, just generally speaking? It's not really a war. Like, it's all situational and it's all about context.
Well, it depends what winning is. For Iran, winning is just survival, which is easy to do. I mean, it's not easy to do, but it's very doable. For America, winning is that you have full control of Iran, where you decide their foreign policy. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah. Here's a question, and I know it's very different. Who's winning in Russia and Ukraine? I know it's very different. They're racially...
It's a very difficult question. I mean, okay, without getting too much into trouble, but on the battlefield, it's a stalemate. Fuck. So you've got like in Ukraine, the part that was ethnically Russians have been able to take over that.
Yeah.
But the part that's ethnically Ukrainian, they're meeting fierce opposition, and so it's a bit of a stalemate. However, they've already occupied like 1/3 or to 1/4 to 1/3 of the territory of Ukraine. Yeah. Because that was the Russian, ethnically Russian part of Ukraine. But Russia is benefiting tremendously from this war.
Why?
In fact, they're the only ones that would want this war to continue.
Why?
One, when there's a blockade of oil from the Gulf,
They have more power.
no, but like not only
oil
they have
power.
oil,
Yeah.
oil prices have skyrocketed. Their economy is dependent on fossil fuel exports, and then all of a sudden, all of these Europeans that were like saying, "Shit,
Now we need Russian oil.
where are you going to get it from?" In fact, he's saying that look, we've already set up our supply lines. We don't need to divert it to Europe or anything, So they're benefiting from this
Fuck. Okay.
because now they get way more cards. Oil prices go up. Their competition is down.
Is it actually verified that it was America who shot that pipeline out?
The Nord Stream, well, it's not verified, but it's pretty much accepted now.
Fuck me.
Insane. China is an interesting situation because China, on one hand, obviously has incentives for Iran to survive, but then China also depends on the oil supply that comes from Iran, which Russia doesn't.
Yeah.
So for China, even though they're supporting Iran, like for example, the GPS, the satellite systems that Iran is using to attack their opponents is the Chinese Beidou system,
Right.
which is a competition for GPS. So they're helping them in that sort of a capacity, but they're also nervous about the Strait of Hormuz. And so Iran is guaranteeing them, we're going to let Chinese ships go through, right? And Trump said, it would be an honor for me to personally protect Chinese cargo and Chinese, because he wants China to not be too overtly with Iran. So he's really like buttering them.
Jesus.
He's desperate. Like a man who believes he's the king is really desperate at the moment. Like literally saying, I would be honored to look out for the Chinese supply. It's rather sad. But anyway.
What is he?
So China needs to come up. I think China will want some kind of an agreement between both parties, i.e. Israel, US, and Iran, on a new modus operandi for the Hormuz Strait.
Right.
Because I think China would say to Iran, we're completely with you. We're going to support you. We're going to make sure that you don't fall apart. If you need whatever weapons expertise, electronic stuff, we'll help you out with that. But the idea that you're going to chokehold Strait of Hormuz completely, not okay.
Right.
So there's probably some negotiations happening there.
Right.
Once, if in the future you do have some kind of an agreement just on the passage of ships from Hormuz, then you will see that China will more forcefully back Iran in this war.
Really?
which gives the Americans a disincentive for it to
Yeah.
happen. But the thing is, it will be really hard for either Americans or Iranians to attack a Chinese ship. They're too petrified
Yeah, of course.
because the prospects of China getting involved would be really bad for both parties.
Yeah.
So both parties have the incentive that China's ships don't get attacked, and maybe China can work out an agreement where some of this stuff goes through. It's pretty open ended right now.
Is
bro.
China an ally of Iran?
Yeah, it is.
Why? Because Game of Thrones.
No, because they get most of their oil from Iran. They don't think Iran is, unlike Israel, it's like Israel thinks like, it's an existential crisis for them. For China, Iran is a perfectly reasonable government.
Yeah, I
That
imagine
works with them perfectly
Does
fine.
China buy any oil from America?
China?
Yeah.
Good question. If they do, then it would be not a huge amount.
Right.
Maybe in the future they'll increase, but they get a lot of their oil from the Gulf, from Russia, and from Iran as well. The reason why Iran was able to sell its oil was because China was buying it.
Interesting.
Because America didn't allow any other countries to buy it.
Why?
Sanctions. If you buy Iranian oil, then we're not going to trade with you. We will put sanctions on you.
How many countries bought from them?
I think India used to buy it. China bought it. Russia doesn't need it, but I think they do like get some for it's like a supply thing. And I'm not sure. Maybe they supply some to Yemen and things like that. I'm not, yeah.
I don't know what Trump is. I don't know what he expected. And I don't know what he expects.
I think he just expects, he's like wondering why aren't they like giving up? He still thinks that like, he's still talking about like, this is going to be, we're going to rain missiles. And it's like, dude, you've been doing it. Like, it's not working clearly.
Holy shit.
And he's like, we will secure the Strait of Hormuz. Like, no one believes you. And that's actually the dangerous part about it, which is that America's credibility is getting such a hit in this entire scenario. Because no country would be safe thinking, like, if America's on our side, we're safe.
Yeah.
A lot of these countries are thinking, well, like, if America's on our side, we're actually unsafe.
Fuck. It's kind of what Jordan said. Like, the Trump thing sped the decline so much more. Because it's like, it's almost like a game of poker where it's like, if you don't show if Biden was in and you sort of don't show your cards too much, then it's like, there's a lot of unknown. There's perceived power. And that's just as important as actual results. And like, if you put all your cards on the table and you're like, this is what America's capable of, this is how important we are, this is how strong we are, this is how weak we are, then it's kind of like, I think other countries lose faith, and they're like, well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That's the entire problem.
Yeah.
This faith, it's perception.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the entire American system works because everyone thinks that America is the biggest and baddest guy. And if you just appease this one guy, you'll be safe from everyone else. But the fact that like there's plenty of, in this, multipolar world where we're saying that a lot of people are challenging the U.S., it's not just people that are challenging the U.S., it's like everyone that is already on U.S. side looking around going like, I don't know if this is the best idea anymore.
Yeah.
You have to hedge your bets. And that creates absolute chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do they call it? Multipolar world?
Yeah. So you'd have, I don't know exactly how, frankly, it's going to be, everything will have to be fundamentally changed in that region. It's going to be a new power, balance of power. And America is scared of that, which is why I don't think they'll quit now.
What's Israel thinking?
Israel
Because they're getting bombed too.
Yeah, of course. Israel is thinking that they'll destroy as much of Iranian military capability as possible.
Yeah.
And so like they will be less of a threat to us. But I wonder where like this is going to go for even them. Because if Iran succeeds, then they're going to be pushed back.
Yeah.
The Gulf countries who were doing Abraham Accords with Israel are not going to be doing that anymore because it's going to be a massive security issue if they do.
Right.
You already see that UAE, which is the only country, not the only country, but like UAE has normalized ties with Israel.
Right.
There's a lot of interaction. Saudi Arabia was about to do it, but hasn't done it.
Yeah.
UAE was the only country in this that had probably the strongest ties with Israel, and has been hit the most in this entire
Really?
thing compared to other Gulf
Jesus,
countries.
because they're getting punished for that.
They're getting punished for that.
Fuck.
So when they recover, they have to rethink what they do.
It's kind of fascinating how basically the way, who would have thought, but the way that Hollywood portrayed war and like America kicking ass and the military and stuff, it's like not accurate. It's like all the money in the world doesn't really, it really doesn't like mean shit.
Money doesn't win you a war. People do.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
You think
American
America's-
people are not interested in this war.
Do you think
at all.
America's military will ever run out of? Because they're asking for more money, aren't they, from Congress? They're like, we need more money for the military.
Well, yeah, they want to increase it to $1 trillion. Again, they're afraid that because everyone's like challenging them all of a sudden, they think if they increase their budget, which is to give their military industrial complex more money, somehow people are going to be scared because we're like, who's going to compete with $1 trillion military? And it's like, dude,
Same old shit.
same old shit. You are really losing it.
It's all very sad, but it is very fascinating to see this.
And even these like interceptor mats, that was the one thing that I don't know why.
because they've kicked their ass on that.
Because every time Iran flies a drone, which by the way, I don't know if you
They're
know
cheap
this,
as
but you know
shit.
how their drones are made? They're cheap, but you know how they're made?
In Russia,
No, they make them themselves.
Oh.
But it basically has like,
Wright
you know
Brothers
those like Uber Eats motorcycles? It has that engine, right? And so they put that engine on a drone and they fire. So it's just what really is happening is
Dirt
you see
cheap.
your drone, but you should see like an Uber Eats moped just flying across. That's how they're doing it. And
yeah,
they
they
have-
really are. They are really. They really are like mainlining that industry, aren't they? Arabs on fucking
Exactly,
Uber
but now
Eats.
they're flying. They obviously did it because, they had to come up with some kind of innovative way to do this because they've been put on sanctions. But that's what America's competing with. So,
It's
and
cheap.
America's like missiles, like each of this missile that comes out that destroys one of these drones is like $1 million.
Oh my!
$1 million
God.
versus a moped, a flying moped. So it's the interceptor
Did you
mats is
see-
gone, and now there's the other thing that's happening with Gulf. America again prioritizes Israel, so they're giving most of this like missile defense system to Israel to protect them, and all these Gulf countries that you don't see it in the news, but they're getting battered, and so they're saying, "What about us? You only care about Israel?"
Fuck.
And so America's like, "Well, yes, but so you know what they did?
What?
They asked Korea and Australia to supply theirs." Which means
Fuck's sake.
that they're already running low. They're
Oh
asking
my God.
Korea and Australia to give them some of their these interceptor missiles, so that they can give it to the Arab countries, so that they don't get pissed off that they're only giving to Israel.
Jesus Christ!
And if this war continues, eventually these interceptors are going to run out. And when that runs out, then
the mopeds come in.
mopeds here, mopeds there. So it'll be exactly, the Gulf countries will be going through what Iran's going through, which is that every missile or every drone that's coming is hitting.
Oh my God!
And Israel will be in that same situation because Israel has hogged all of these interceptors,
Yeah.
but they're going to run out too eventually.
I don't know if this was fake, but did you see that they were like spray painting outlines of Tomahawk things on the ground to trick America into
Yeah,
bombing?
but that was AI. That was fake news.
Oh, for fuck's sake, was it?
Yeah.
So they won't do any of that.
No, that was like legitimately AI generated pictures.
Why would someone make that?
Just like information warfare. Dude,
Right.
I showed you like the Americans are doing the same thing. I showed you literally a New York Post thing, right?
Yeah, but that's just dumb shit.
But it's doing the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
just saying like
His penis doesn't work.
His penis doesn't work, and he's impotent. And even like his dad was like, "You are an impotent asshole." I was like, "Are you in? What are you doing? What kind
Yeah.
of news is this?"
What is happening?
The New York Post, again, it's like they're
So-
being fed by the
was
Israeli.
Was it fake that they there was also they had like blow up tanks and shit like in World War II? Is that also fake?
Who blew up tanks? Americans?
No. There was news that Iran had like jumping castle tanks that were being bombed to trick the Americans. Also bullshit.
I don't know about that, but probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuckheads. I hate
But
fake
what I
news.
will say is true is that a lot of the stuff that the Americans are bombing, the Iranians were like, they expected them to be bombed. Also, like some of those planes, when America says like, we destroyed Iranian Air Force or whatever, it's like, yeah, but these planes were from like the Shah's era. They
Yeah.
weren't going to like use it against you anyways.
Yeah.
This wasn't their first line of defense.
Yeah.
Also, what you destroyed is mostly Iranian army equipment, and the Iranian army doesn't even call the shots. It's the IRGC that calls the shots.
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
It's very similar to June.
it is.
It's
it
like the
is.
same story. I mean, you've seen the movie, so you know. It's like a very similar thing, you know. Only difference is in June, the martyr is like a white English guy, you know, not a fucking Ayatollah. But like, very, you know, look, it's obviously troubling and sad and distressing for many reasons. But it is also very
Iran actually
interesting. It's very interesting.
You know, Iran actually has a story of like a white guy coming in. Did you know about this?
Jesus?
I can't remember his name, but
Jesus Christ.
there was an evangelical preacher from the U.S. who went to Iran in the early 50s to basically preach the gospel. But when he was there was a revolution that took place where Iranians overthrew the first Shah regime. And he got involved in that. And he sided with the Iranian people and eventually got martyred himself. This white American Christian guy.
Seriously?
Yeah. And
So it is June.
yeah, and he is still today remembered in Iran as a martyr, where on his death anniversary, people go and put like flowers on his grave.
What year was this? Like,
I want in late 40s, early 50s. I
kidding
wanna say.
me?
Yeah.
seriously?
Yeah.
Because he defected and...
No, he didn't defect. He initially went there to preach the gospel, but then involved in the political stuff. And you're like, but the thing is, America took away his citizenship because he was fighting technically against their allied thing.
Like Hemingway in the Spanish War.
Yeah. And then he died in that war. And so he became a martyr, and he's remembered in Iran as a martyr.
Fucking
And
hell.
that's like a Dune
It's
thing.
June.
Yeah. Just this one random American guy. I can't remember. I think he was from Connecticut or something.
What's I know we'll finish soon, but what's the situation with what's America's perception of the war on the ground, the citizens, the civilians?
Iranian citizens?
No, American.
What do you mean? They're fine. There's nothing wrong. So there's no attacks on American.
Yeah.
You're talking about like the
Perception of
military
war.
people.
No. A bloke that lives in Ohio.
Yeah, so
a farmer,
I think what
California, whatever.
you'll see what my guess is that this war is going to get more popular in the U.S.
Why?
Initially, because again, now you're in war, it's going to become unpopular again. But right now, I think you'll see that what you had initially was that overwhelmingly the Democrats were against the war, and then you had independents who were against the war, and then you had like MAGA people who some were for the war and some were against. So the initial polls that I read was about 25-75, so 25% supported and 75% opposed it. I bet you if you do it today, it would be like 60-40, and at some point it will become 50-50 again.
Yeah.
All of the Republicans will get behind this war. All of the Democrat politicians who are right now against it will get behind this war, because once the deep state tells them what's at stake over here, then they're going to get behind it. The Democrat voters are going to stay against it, I think. But right now you could argue that maybe 60 to 70% are against the war.
And what's happening between Pakistan and Afghanistan?
They're doing actually similar to what Israel's doing. Pakistan's doing a decapitation thing in Iran.
Just bombing the... Wait,
Yeah.
what? Wait, what?
Just bombing.
Who's bombing who?
Pakistan's bombing Afghanistan.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Aren't they like brothers in arms or some shit?
Nah, they used to be, but they're because like the same thing. Like Afghanistan doesn't have an air force, so like there's so many bullets of AKs that are gonna reach the sky.
What's the beef about?
That Afghanistan supports terrorist organizations that attack Pakistan.
Oh yeah. Jesus Christ, the world's
I want
fucked
to.
right now.
The
dude.
one thing that I wanted to talk about, actually, I wish I did this before, but I got this question, which is that what's the odds of like a Iranian minority, Kurds, Azeris, and what people call the Balakis? Can I just say it's pronounced Baloch? Okay, it's just Balak, the Balakis. Even like I see, okay, it's Baloch. Anyways, so
What's that? What's the Blues Brothers guy? Belushi.
Belushi. Well, that would be better than Balaki. Anyway, so America's trying to get a coalition of these minority groups to essentially raise a force and attack the
Afghanistan.
no, Iran. So this is sorry, I went back to Iran.
Oh,
So
like the minorities. There.
the minorities
Yeah, yeah.
in Iran will raise a force helped
Yeah.
by the U.S.
Yeah.
and they're going to attack the government, the regime of Iran. Right? That's the idea. Now, I want to talk about like why that's unlikely to happen in this case. Right? For
Yeah.
one, you get all of your test studies of this from Syria, Iraq, and Libya. The thing is, all three of these countries, actually minus Syria. Syria was similar, but let's say Libya and Iraq, they're all like it's really hard to explain, but they're very unstable from the beginning, where like there's multiple groups that have formed a status quo as to how this government is run. When an external force like America comes in, gets rid of the main one, it's really hard to form a coalition around you because there's so many different factors. In Iran, that's not the case.
Right.
Like, sure, there's these ethnic minorities, but they kind of have their own thing. The main Iranian regime is not nearly as unstable as what the Iraq regime was.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the idea that like you can break them like this is hard. Secondly, and this is like one of the really important points that I think no one is considering. The fact that, okay, when the Iraq war happened, we know, most of us would now argue that Israel had a big role to play in the Iraq war, right? But did you know that so many NATO countries, including us, were fighting Iraq, whereas Israel was not?
Right.
Think about this. Those of you that are like, think about why Iraq, in the Iraq war, a war that was specifically asked for by the Israelis, were not involved in the war. And it's not because they were afraid or anything. They were itching. They wanted to get in. They always loved the idea of killing some muzzy ass out there. But the government of US was smart at the time. And they said, if you are there, if you are involved in this war, it would be hard for us to gather a coalition of Muslim countries to help us in this. So you have to stay out of this.
Right.
Because when you come in, there's going to be a propaganda that this is an Israeli war. So as much as you want to be part of it, as much as we can use some extra, stay the fuck out of this. And that allowed the Kurds or whoever, the different sort of ethnic group, because they got behind America. Now, they don't like America, but they don't viscerally hate America like they hate Israel.
Right.
In this instance, Israel is so intimately involved that every ethnic group that you're talking about that might hate the Iranian regime and want to overthrow them, but their own people will say, not in this manner. Because we are not going to be fighting for Israel.
Gotcha.
So I think it would be incredibly hard to gather that coalition.
Yeah.
And just think about it. Like, they did the Iraq war without Israel. They did a war for Israel without Israel. Why was that? And it's because of exactly this reason. Once Israel's involved, you're not going to get mass support for this.
Interesting. They're screwed.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're screwed.
Yeah.
There's one possibility that they could achieve the result. I don't think there's any other way.
Send in Dave Chappelle. Yo, man, y'all got to chill down here.
Gotta chill down.
I got a show. I'm going to be live in the Strait of Vermouth. Bring some vermouth, man. I need a drink after this war, man.
That is if that there is a split or a civil war within the IRGC. I think it's extremely unlikely now because I told you know how I said that once that assassinating Khamenei was a tactical blunder?
Yeah.
Because I think they forego. But I could imagine a scenario where the IRGC may have gotten split as well. So one hardline IRGC that would have been like, all out, we die, this is going to be like what they're doing now. And then within the IRGC, there would have been a group that would be like, maybe we can come out with a resolution over here. We don't have to press the nuke button, right? You know, we don't have to self-demo. And if you played your cards right, not in the immediate run, but eventually I could see that maybe there's a split in the IRGC.
Sure.
And that would have actually been the golden bullet that the US, Israeli, everyone was looking for. If the IRGC splits and there's a civil war there, that's it. Then the cohesion and all the thing is going to go.
Right.
The only reason why you're seeing this force to be reckoned with is because they're a united front fighting against you. But, who knows? In the future, if America decides that they're not going to be morons anymore, they may create conditions for it, but they're doing everything that unites them right now. Like every time they say like, we're going to take their oil, they're going to have like hell to pay. It's like, it's only uniting them.
Crazy thing is, it's not shocking because, like, dude, Trump's on a fucking tactical genius. Like, this is bound to happen. He's going to fuck it up, and it's going to be fucked up. And that Hegseth guy's a fucking tool, dude. Have you seen? Oh, it's so cringe. It's like, this was not a regime change war. But the regime sure did change. It's like, no, it didn't. And also, like, you're not in a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, dude. What are you talking about? Who speaks like that? What are you, like I've actually, he's actually, like, brain dead and cringe as shit.
John Mearsheimer, he was saying, he wrote a book on why do nations lie. So his entire thesis is that politicians lie all the time to their own populations, like all the time.
Yeah, well, you kind of have to.
But he was saying that they very rarely lie to other countries, including their enemies.
Yeah.
And he was saying that the reason why they very rarely lie to them is because, so when they do lie, they're believed.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
in order to be able to lie, you have to not lie.
You only got a few bullets in the chamber.
Yeah.
If you lie about everything, you have to be a truth teller to believe. For someone,
because now you trust me. And he gives the example, like, if you and I had a 20-year relationship and you saw that I'm a fairly trustable guy and I don't lie all the time, and then I say something that's really important that's a lie, you'll believe me because you've let your guard down. But if I habitually lie, so he's saying that Trump has the same thing where like his lies have become detrimental, where like no one believes him anymore.
This like completely lost its.
So when he says like, I'll attack Beijing if you do this, like, lies. You're lying.
Yeah.
Like, you've never spoken the truth,
Yeah.
But if someone like Obama, like in a threat, imagine if someone like Obama said like, if you attack Taiwan, we'll attack Beijing. I think the Chinese would be like, we have to consider this.
Yeah.
But when Trump says like, no, he's fucking.
Totally.
Yeah.
This is crazy, but do you think that the whole war was just a distraction to the Epstein files?
Oh. Man, I don't know if it was a distraction, but I really think the whole Epstein stuff is definitely symptomatic of a breaking down of the empire, where you've got like a class of people that are above everything else that can make decisions of war and peace on their own whims and for exclusively their personal gains.
Yeah.
Like that. So in some sense, I do feel that Epstein just symbolizes like the deep rot that's leading to all of this.
Yeah.
But like the idea that like, oh, it was because they were like, oh, Epstein is getting bigger, like we need to attack right now.
Definitely not.
Like even some people are arguing that like, oh, you realize why Venezuela was attacked to like secure the oil fields. And it's like, yeah, that's an interesting point, but like it's completely not true because.
Then why'd they do it?
Well, it's not for this reason, because if you wanted to do it, then you would first attack Venezuela. You would increase the capacity. Venezuela is not producing a buttload of oil right now. That might happen in years. And I have my arguments as to even that will be sabotaged at some point, because Trump doesn't realize that there's going to be blowbacks even in Latin America for him. But even assuming that he was completely successful, you would need at least 5-6 years to develop the capacity to be able to offset Strait of Hormuz.
So why'd they do it?
You don't do it. Because, I mean,
wait,
there's many
about Venezuela now?
I'm like, some people are arguing that they attacked Venezuela because they wanted to attack Iran. And I was like, because they wanted to take the oil.
Yeah, but that's not true.
No, because
so why'd they do it? Why'd they attack Venezuela?
Well, they wanted to attack Venezuela because to have control over their. And I think it's the same thing that they're doing here.
Right.
Which is they want to have
control.
One, it's Israel's lobbying powers, which are enormous. But secondly, they're looking at this and they go like, we'll control oil supply from the Middle East. Unfortunately, maybe they'll lose the oil supply even from the Gulf after this.
But we'll see. I saw there was some video where like there was this 2 billionaires from Israel and they were massive contributors to Trump. And he does speeches being like, it's blah, blah, blah. She's a lovely woman. He actually goes, I actually asked her one day, I said, what do you love more, America or Israel? And she didn't say anything, was just quiet. I don't know what that means, okay? I don't know. But anyway, like...
It means Israel.
Yeah, of course. But it's also like...
She's also Israeli.
I know, but it's also such blatant corruption. The fact that he does speeches be like, there she is, the one who lobbies for me. She's a great girl because she gave me money. It's like, so out in the open.
Yeah, but I fear for, like, not her. Her, she's like one of the most evil people. I don't care about her. But I do feel for a lot of the dual citizens because imagine America loses this war. They're going to blame it on all of these people. They're
That's
going to blame
also
it.
A double-pronged effect that will happen.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
now I'm kind of like afraid for a lot of these like extremely pro-Zionists living in America because
Ben Shapiro.
if America, like, yeah, people like Ben Shapiro, like if America for some reason, you know, actually loses its power in the Middle East, they have to wind up their bases. Who do you think the Americans are going to blame?
yeah.
I mean, obviously they're going to blame Iran and the Muslims, but like they're too far away for them.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be some like internal, you know, racism for the Muslims. But I also imagine that there's going to be a lot of anti-Semitism that's going to come out of this, which is not good at all.
It's just all fucked. It's all fucked.
Yeah, so maybe they wouldn't. Maybe she would need to go to Israel, you know?
I don't know how the 90s was so chill. And they weren't even chill. There was heaps of wars, but it felt chill.
Yeah, I did. But man, I missed the 90s.
I miss the 90s hard
90s
out.
were a good time.
Dude, fun wars. Like the Falklands.
Fun wars. Like the Bosnians.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't fun. R.I.P. to those motherfuckers. A lot of them
Man,
died.
even that, like the idea that, like, you know, once the U.S. got involved, everyone was like, this war is over.
It's done.
But now when, like, the U.S. goes like, oh, this is just beginning.
Shit, that's
a whole different
very
time.
different situation.
Anyways, is there anything else, Miss, that you would like to add?
No, not really. That was pretty thorough. Welcome. I mean, we got Shawarma FM and we got 2 pods. We got the Friendly Geordies.
If you want to ask
Shawarma
me
FM.
any questions about the Iran war,
Are you going to do your...
yeah, but I was thinking like I'll do it for shawarma itself if it's easier. So if you have any questions and I'll give you detailed answers, maybe leave in the comments.
Yeah.
And next time when we do a shawarma, I'll address them.
We're sort of discussing... Yeah, we're going to do the paywall. Anyway, it's hard because Jordan's away on tour. We're still ironing out the details, but whatever. There's just a shit ton of pods.
Yeah, well, right now you'll see this.
Don't complain. There's a lot of pods.
Yeah, anyways. Well,
See ya.
see you guys next time. Bye-bye.